cutting-edge technology, introducing...
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, Hestia Med Spa, and Comfort Keepers in Home Care. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Thomas Polucki.
On your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors. Well, almost.
Hey, I got my AARP card, so that's got to count for something.
Giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, we have the one and only Kevin MacDonald from the SCV Senior Center. Welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
How do you feel?
We're feeling great.
Super duper. Super. So what's on the agenda today? Lots
going on at the Senior Center. We are just home for Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year's in these couple of weeks, and we are decorated. The staff just did a phenomenal job. So when the seniors walk through the Senior Center, it's the big 16-foot tree as you get in there. The menorah's out there. There's music playing in the ballroom I just left. There's a big video showing with a holiday background, and they're eating their meals and having a great time in fellowship with each other. And that's their holiday is every day that we try to make it a holiday for them at the Senior Center.
That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It's a busy place.
It certainly is. It's probably busier than when we first opened. We have so many, the crowds are in, they're taking their classes. We actually have overflow classes right now. So the classes are getting packed. So they go into another room right next door and we zoom in the class. So no one misses out. So the chair Pilates is selling out and the Zumba classes, and they'll be singing and dancing all day long there with one class or another. I was walking through the hallway yesterday, and I heard this ruckus, and it was all these people. They were playing cards together. Whatever game they were playing, it was crazy. And it was just good to hear the joy of them laughing and playing with, just basic stuff. It's really nice.
Well, we thought that the old Senior Center wasn't big enough. It's becoming the new Senior Center is not big enough.
We're stretching it right now.
That's what it sounds like.
We were able to put an outside activity flooring outside with tents and everything else, so some of the activities can go outside now, which is nice.
That's terrific.
And so that's really, it just gives it another option. It's a beautiful day today. Why not be outside if you can be? We threw in a pickleball court a couple of weeks ago, so that's outside. So just those little simple things to get people to more variety.
And the weather is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, I don't like hot weather in the winter, but at least it's good for the Senior Center.
It certainly is. So it's nice.
For the activities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be 70 for the next several days. It might hit 75 for Christmas. You can't beat that. Today, by the way, is the winter solstice. So happy solstice for all you witches out there.
That's right.
But the good news is it's the shortest day of the year. So every day gets a little bit longer now until the end of June. So we've got that to look forward to. If this is the worst of it, I'm out there working on my tan. I mean, you can't beat that. It's a beautiful thing. So you mentioned you've got some outside stuff and pickleball.
Right.
So tell me about that, because pickleball is like the craze right now.
Yeah, we just started it. We set up a court on our premises in our courtyard, so that's nice. Another option. We're probably going to expand that for a couple different areas we have planned. As pickleball takes off, we want to be with the trend.
Right.
So that's nice. They got the ping pong team. I talked to them yesterday. They're coming back in January. And then more classes are coming online. So
all right, so talk about the classes. What new classes are there?
Well, they got the Tai Chi with Alan. Now we have a beginning Tai Chi, and Alan comes all the way from Lancaster to teach our classes.
Yeah, that's dedication.
And he volunteers his time. He's just so special to us, and it really brings that zenness to everybody in the morning there. And also we have one in the afternoon, kind of like a meditation yoga that goes on.
So is this just like an introduction to Tai Chi? Does he go through a long form, a short
Yeah,
form?
he also goes through the long form as well. There's an introduction class, but there's also the regular ones. People have been doing it for years.
Wow.
And they just take over the class. The nice thing is we Zoom all the classes as well. So when Alan is out there doing it, he's also Zooming it to people in their homes, which is the people we really want to touch as well.
Exactly.
Those that are homebound, that can't make it in. Those that are getting our meals because of the home delivered meal program and the Meals on Wheels program. So everything we're doing, we're Zooming in, because the one thing about COVID we liked was that we can get into people's homes that can't make it to the senior center.
Everybody had to take a big step up with
Right.
telehealth, social, all of it. So what are the requirements of someone signing up for a Zoom class at the senior center? Do they actually have to go there, or can they do that online?
They can do everything online. Everything we have is online on the website.
Okay.
And that's a nice thing. And we don't check your ID
Yeah,
for
right.
going online. I mean, you have to show ID for our food program, but the other classes is open. And they're all senior biased, but anyone can take one of our classes, which is kind of
Yeah,
nice.
Tai Chi's good for everybody.
Right.
Everybody.
But they're also filling in. I do the fitness orientation. They're coming into our gym and using that throughout the day, and that's nice too. And there's not an age limit on that, and it's not the full workout. It's not your LA Fitness,
Right.
but it's a really solid fitness center for everybody. And I just thank them for coming in, because they're keeping their muscles moving.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. They're moving everything. And that is so important as we age to keep it moving.
Oh,
and,
tell
Absolutely.
me about it.
and they're looking for advice and counsel, and they look after each other, and they're mentoring each other. And we have the treadmills, and we have the weights and everything else, even the light weights. And that's just so important for general mental health as well as the physical health.
Oh, absolutely. So you said, I'm sorry, you stepped into it. You volunteered that you do the fitness orientation. So tell me what that's like.
It's more about safety and hygiene and health, and that's really important as and join any kind of fitness routine. Is what are the basics for basic safety, and looking out for your fellow person that's out there, lifting with you or walking with you.
Yeah.
And we got all the machines, so when you're walking on the treadmill, you could be walking through Chile or walking through Yosemite or wherever you want to walk through, because it's a very high technology for that, so they can really enjoy that. And they just want to do something, and they don't want to go to some of the bigger gyms sometimes. So it's a nice alternative for a very small fitness center for them to take advantage of it. And they encourage each other because they really want to continue to be active.
Absolutely.
And that's one way
So
to do it.
again, I'm sorry. I want to make sure that I understand this. You don't. I mean, there's not a charge for this, right? You
Right.
can just go there and.
You have to register. We
Right.
need to get name, address, and all the basic information, but people can use it too. And like I said, it's definitely senior based. It is a senior center, and they're using it more and more. So it's getting larger, and we have some registration times, so we don't have it too full. But also, it's kind of free during lunchtime, so people are doing that. So just a nice alternative for folks,
Yeah,
along
it
with
is.
the classes. We got the Zumba classes, the chair Pilates. We also have a great artist named Teresa, and she comes in and teaches the art classes.
Nice.
And she's just fantastic. And
What kind of art? Like everything under the sun?
Yeah, it's
or-
watercolor art. She keeps exploring different art forms with people. So it is so nice. They had their own party they didn't tell me about, and 35 people came to a party outside of the class because they enjoy each other's fellowship. And that's the benefit of some of these classes. It's not just about art. It's about, no, I am next to somebody. I am talking to people. I'm engaging people. And this post-COVID era has to be about communion of people.
Oh, absolutely.
And seeing and chatting, just one thing in common, they have art. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad at art, but all of a
Right.
sudden your friends develop.
Right. So you brought up the C word. Are you mandating vaccine proof and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we
for the
still are at
facility?
the senior center. It's still getting some good reception. We're not sure how long we're going to keep doing it, but we've mandated it from the beginning. We really encourage the masks, but we don't require the masks. And depending on the cold and flu season too, how people get it. But it's really worked kind of well. And throughout the whole pandemic, I think our staff have done an incredible job with health and safety. And the seniors are very concerned too, because that's the population it impacted the most with COVID.
Sure.
And as we go through this post-COVID era, our classes are still going on. Nothing's stopping. We have a full senior center. Everyone's eating together. So yeah, it's a post-COVID, but it's almost like we're moving on.
Yeah, great.
And it's really nice. And they're being cautious, and they're washing their hands and doing all the basics that we have to do to keep healthy. And we all learn that more than ever before.
Sure.
To take care of yourself and go in.
Yeah, everybody's on a cruise ship now.
Yeah. So
Wash your hands, people.
that's it. So it's been nice, but it's so nice to just see the people coming in and just sharing a meal together, and they miss that.
Yeah.
And at one point they tell me, Kevin, we don't want to hear any music. We want to talk to each other. Can you tone down the music in the ballroom? Because I just want to talk to my neighbor. And then we have the nice thing about happening this year is people coming from all over the Santa Clarita Valley to come in. We've never seen them before. And they're all new. Every day I'm getting 5 to 10 new people that have never been to the senior center before walking through the door. And as a senior, to have the courage to walk into a new place, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's
It
kind of like
really
going
is.
back to high school when you're
Yes.
walking in for the first time and you're nervous as anything. They're doing that and they're later in life, and it's like we have to make sure we have a welcoming environment for them.
Especially during the holidays. This is a rough time for solo singles, not
Yep.
solo by choice.
Right.
As seniors, solo single, solo seniors. And the holidays can be rough.
Sure it is. And it's nice to have our social workers all on board at the senior center too. So there's always somebody to talk to. And if you're going through a tough time and if you're grieving, we have the grieving support groups and they're active. But it's also someone you can just talk to for free, to go upstairs, talk to a social worker, tell them what you're going through, and then that's an important resource to have.
And you also receive phone calls regarding that.
For the homebound folks, yes,
Yeah.
they receive phone calls. But you're right, if you can't come in, you can call the senior center and say, I need to talk to somebody, and we'll put you online with a counselor right away. And that's kind of a real nice gift for anyone to say, oh, there is someone to talk to at the senior center. Yeah, there is.
Yeah, that's fantastic because we used to have a fantastic hotline out here. And people could call in and, tell the listener, I need to talk to somebody. I'm all alone and whatever. And we had many of those calls.
Right. And
That's what you have is essentially a hotline.
Yeah, and we call our staff care managers. So it's a great term for the old-time social worker, and now it's the care manager for taking care of that.
Yeah, I like that better.
But it's also a reminder for ourselves in our communities of saying, are we reaching out to the seniors on our block? Are we looking out for our seniors in this time, in this era with the holiday season, and making sure people that are our neighbors and our friends are they taken care of? Have you called your favorite aunt this week? Because I haven't yet, and I need to do that as a senior. She needs to know that Kevin cares about her, no matter how far away she is. So if we all do a little bit of our part during this season for our seniors, is reach out to those seniors in our lives and give them that phone call. Don't just send the Christmas cards. Give them that phone call.
Yeah,
Give them that love.
That's what my neighbor does to me because she knows I've been going through a rough time, and she'll call me every other day, and how you doing? Just checking in on you,
That's a
and
great
I have
neighbor.
a couple of other friends who do the same thing, and it's a wonderful feeling. It really is because it kind of, hey, I am here. And get with it, Barbara.
Right. And so many people in the community, but it takes your neighbor to call you, and that's special.
Yes,
Yeah.
it really is. It makes a big difference. It really does. And I wanted to find out, you're on a donation.
Yeah, we have it's called our annual Peel campaign, and we started that over Thanksgiving holiday. We sent a letter to as many people we could on the community, asking them to support. We're a private, nonprofit organization. We have to raise about $1 million a year to break even. And as you noted, our classes are free right now, and we're going to try to keep them free as long as we can. So our goal is to make sure seniors have full access. So the one letter we sent out is out there now in the community.
And I have my daughter out there. If you want to go open the door, she has something for you.
Your daughter has something for me.
Yes.
Okay. A surprise visit to the radio show.
Surprise visit to the radio.
Hello.
This is my daughter, Dee Dee.
Hi. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. SCV Senior Center, and we can fill that out for you. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you to your family. That's so nice.
Yes.
And this will go towards all of our programs and services.
Yes,
that's
I know.
Wonderful. You know that.
Yes,
you know that.
I've been doing this for quite a while.
Well, thank you very much.
It goes to a worthy cause. Absolutely
Thank you.
worthy cause.
And we need people in the community, and we've seen these checks come across, and we're so touched by them because I do the thank you notes personally.
I know.
And people can do it online. They can get on our website and hit donate now for the annual Peel campaign, and that wraps up the year
Yes.
for us. And it just gets us going for the next year. It's so we can provide everything for free for the seniors that we serve because, seniors are on a fixed income. And I don't want to assume anything. So we try to really assume that they're walking through the door. They have a fixed income. I have to respect that. They've worked their entire lives, and now we have to protect their wealth in our concept at the Senior
And
Center. And
we-
this is what makes us go.
We have an enormous number of seniors in this community. We
Mm-hmm.
really do. And some of them are at home and stay at home,
Right.
unfortunately. And that's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, because everyone needs to be in touch. And the older you get, the more important it is to be in touch with family and friends, your neighbors.
But that's why we need to spread the word. That's why
Absolutely.
we're still getting 5
That's
to 10
what
new
I'm getting
people
to.
every single day coming through just because someone said, why don't you stop by the Senior Center? It's not your grandfather's Senior Center.
Right.
It doesn't look like it. It act like it. It looks like a country club. It acts like a country club. And you're walking into that. You're not walking into a Senior Center.
And that being said, it's a free service.
Right.
You're not. It's not like a PBS special where you're constantly hit up.
Exactly
No.
right.
We do one letter a year, and we
Yeah.
do our celebrity waiter event, and that's
Right.
our big fundraising event, and that'll be coming up probably in April this year. But we do a letter, and we do celebrity waiter, and then we just ask for support here and there. But you're not going to get 4 emails from me a month.
Right.
That's not the way we operate.
Right. So, but okay, that aside, I want to make sure that this senior center stays open. So, can you tell us what would be in that letter? If I got the letter, because for whatever reason I'm not on your list.
Okay.
So
you'll be on the list tomorrow.
There you go. So
we go.
what does the letter basically just say? That we provide this service, and this is the one time of a year that we're going to ask.
Right, and we provide all the classes and the supports that a senior needs in this community. And, we work with the city and we work with the county to provide all these services. And we have tremendous support from them. That's why we're able to survive, because we have the greatest county with support from Supervisor Barger, and then this wonderful city that we live in that supports the senior center as well. So you combine that with a little bit of community support, and we're going to keep going for a long time. And that's how the building was built, and that's how our programs continue in the future. So if you have a senior in your life, send them on over, and that's what this letter kind of helps bring to fruition.
Okay, great.
Yes, and it's a wonderful place to go. If you've never been up there, please pay a visit to it, because it is an incredible. It's not a building; it's a home. It really is. It's a home for the elderly, a place to go to communicate with each other.
It's a country
And
club
me.
for the elderly.
There you go. There you go.
And we got the best
country
food in the
club.
county, because I got the best executive chef and advisory chef
I
and the
know,
cooks,
I've-
and they
I've-
are killing with the food these days. So
And I know,
I'm looking
because-
forward to going back, because I'm getting a meal today. Even though I'm under 60, I can pay for one, and get a great meal today, because they got a salad out there that they said I gotta eat today.
Oh,
they had
that's good.
salmon on Friday. We broke over 1,500 meals on Friday because we had salmon. And they just came from all over for the salmon.
I know.
So,
I've been occasionally getting home delivered
We're going to
meals.
feed you well.
Yes,
that's for sure.
I know that.
And with that
I
team that's back there.
absolutely know that. Now, how do we get in touch with the senior center?
You can. Our website is myscvcoa.org.
Yes.
And our phone number, you know better than I do, Barbara. What's our phone number?
661-259-9444.
You got it.
Yes. Thanks, Kevin, for joining us.
Well, thank you.
today.
Thank you for carrying, both of you. Thank you for
Yes.
carrying
Always
your
a pleasure
support.
to have you here.
Yes. And take all your programs and keep them going.
You got it. Well, thanks again for
Okey-doke.
your donation and your support.
All right, it's my pleasure, believe me, because my husband and I were one of the originators of the senior center
Yes, we know.
in the 80s. That was a long time ago, because Russ saw the need, because he was involved with the school district and the community health center, and he saw it.
And we're here today because of that beginning.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks again, Kevin.
Thank you.
Have a great Christmas and a great holiday.
Thank you. You as well.
I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And now, woohoo! We have one of our sponsors, Myles McNamara from Comfort Keepers in Home Care.
Hey guys, good to see you.
What's up with you?
You know, bobbing and weaving like everyone else this time of year, right?
Absolutely.
Like, let's just power through it and let's get her done.
Absolutely. But at least we're here to do it.
Absolutely, yeah. So
And we're in good health.
I'll be heading north here soon to spend some time with my family and daughters and everything. So get out of Dodge for a while.
And that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Always a good thing.
So-
Go somewhere new and somewhere different.
'Tis the season that we all bundle for the pressure.
There you go. And Comfort Keepers is going to be open while you're away.
We're 24/7,
24/7.
365.
Okay, so
I've got a staff that holds me up. I got a great team. So yes, we'll be around.
awesome. So, talking about staff, is there someone there 24/7 to answer an emergency call?
We have typical business hours, but we have it on after hours line, so we're reachable 24/7. So not only for our clients that are on board, but if something happens and a new client needs us, we're available, as I said, 24/7, 365. And the home care aspect of what we do for people who aren't that familiar with home care is we're not nurses, but we have all forms of in-home care that doesn't take a medical license, which is what our seniors need primarily in the home.
Mostly.
They maybe need help with, bathing and showering, meal preparation, taking their medications on time, getting them to doctor's appointments, helping them around the house, shopping and, like I said, meal prep, light housekeeping, helping them pay bills if need be. So anything hands-on to help our seniors stay safely in their own home, which, as we all know, is where they want to stay. If they choose to go to assisted living, let that be their choice. But I see through my 21 years of doing this that 8 or 9 out of 10 want to stay in their own homes. Some choose assisted living because, that old cruise ship on land reputation, but they want to stay where their memories are. They want to stay in their own home. And so a lot of times they just need a helping hand to actually stay there, and they're still the boss. We maintain that, highly on their list that, we're not here to take over your life. We're here to embellish your life. A lot of times we see a little pushback from new clients that, they feel like their privacy and independence is being infringed upon. But once they see that, no, you're still the boss. We're gonna help you do the things that you might struggle with and have challenges with. And actually, I was just talking to Dee Dee out front, Barbara, and a lot of things that we do relieves the stress and dynamics for our adult children who are, stuck between, they're called the sandwich generation. Yes. So they're stuck between caring for their aging loved ones and caring for their own young children and family, running to soccer practice at 2, zipping over at 4 to see if mom or dad took their meds, picking up the kids from soccer practice, going back over to mom and dad's to see if they had a meal. And it's just so we really give the peace of mind to adult children, some who are states away, by the way, not always local, that their parents or grandparents are being looked after. And the biggest thing is getting them to their follow-up doctor's appointments, because mismanagement of medications and also not doing their follow-up doctor appointments really leads to readmission if they've been discharged from the hospital or if they're heading that way. So it's monstrous important, if that's the term.
I couldn't survive without Dee Dee and Scott.
Yeah.
So far, because Mom, did you take your meds? No, here they are.
Now look at that other side of the coin. When we had the privilege to take care of your dear husband, look at the stress it took off you, and you were able to be the monster volunteer that you are and still go out and do the things that you did, and you knew that Russ was being looked after.
Absolutely.
So again, we're really privileged to be in that position to not only help our seniors but help the family. And it's again doing it for over 21 years, and it remotivates you when you just see the the relaxation when, not everything is dependent upon one or two people. And it's very rewarding what we do.
It is, but initially you do send a nurse out.
Well, my care managers are nurses. I have an office in
Yes.
Encino, and I have an office here in Santa Clarita. And because we interface with medical providers, home health, hospice, physical therapy, the licensed medical folk, but, so it's nice to have my care, and it's not necessary, again, with what we do, but it's just something I've wanted to do is have my care managers be nurses so that they can
Well,
really talk the
that's
language.
a relief to you also.
Yeah.
Because you know that you have not essentially followed the law, but you have done the correct thing to
Yeah.
make sure that the people that you have been that you are taking care of or possibly taking care of they've had a professional there to monitor and make sure that things are going to go this way and this way.
And another rewarding aspect of it is we actually just kind of, I don't know, by natural causes, if you will, but we become a patient advocate for our clients as well. Because if they are, interfacing with home health, hospice, whatever it is, and they're getting, a block of, a stone wall, and the charging isn't going the way it should, so we can actually step in because of our experience and help through that process as well.
Right.
We actually become the advocate for our clients with the medical providers that sometimes they're confused with, too much input, not enough output. Because when we're in a waiting office or a doctor's office and they're just, shooting things, take this med to eat food here, don't eat food there, medication with whatever. You think listening, but then you get back and you're like, oh, what did he say about that?
Yes.
So obviously write it down. But again, it's just such an overwhelming stage, that it's just too much input. And to have someone, because we actually go to the doctor's office with our clients with their permission, so we can take notes and write what needs to be done, and that then takes that pressure off as well from having to remember everything when you're just fresh out of the hospital bed or whatever the case may be. It could be your annual checkup. I mean, how many of us just kind of turn off when the doctor's telling us, get more exercise, eat right, and you're like, okay, doc, okay. But anyway.
I call it, when I'm talking to a patient, I check in with them, say, now, how much of that was Charlie Brown's teacher? I want to know that they just heard what I said.
Repeat
because
it back to me.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I take it for granted. I don't take it for granted that anybody who is, sitting across from me hears what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in. Like when I'm at my accountant, it's brutal. Just show me. Where do I sign? Where do I sign?
Yeah, like I said, at some point you just shut down. You just can't tell that input, and as far as, then once you get home, it's that blank slate of having no recollection of what you were just told to do. And most doctors are very good at giving you, discharge papers and an agenda to follow and things like that. But it's just good to have an extra set of ears and hands around when that happens.
Yeah, it is. You should see the notes all over the house. Oh, my goodness.
Right. Yeah. And again, what we really have to, and there's a lot of obviously, prevalent things that happen with our, slip and falls are the biggest, it's like in the bathroom, in the kitchen. That's why, with personal hygiene, helping our clients in and out of the shower or the bath if they prefer, one slip and fall and you've got that broken hip, you've got that head trauma from a smack on the floor or the wall. And sometimes that could have been of the end, because, there's
for too many
osteoporosis
people.
a lot of times. There's, so when you have a healthy, vibrant senior and they do a slip and fall and injure themselves, that rag isn't as easy when you were 20 or 30, So preventative, and we actually tell this to a lot of our, not only medical referrals, but our families as well, is you can always be reactive. So if mom falls and breaks a hip, or if she goes to the hospital because of mismanagement of meds, and you call us, we can react to that. And we'll be there as soon as you just. Let's be proactive. If you have that conversation with your aging loved ones and you're, kind of lay it out like I did earlier about they're not taking over your life, excuse me, they're embellishing and they're your personal assistant basically. Because, again, we're proud and, I don't need a caregiver. You're right. We're a personal assistant. We're going to come in but we're going to be proactive and make sure you don't break your hip in a bad fall. Or maybe it's hot and you're not hydrating enough. And now you get a urinary tract infection or whatever it is. So we always be reactive, but we really promote in being proactive, preventing the things that send your loved ones to hospital or, God forbid, something worse.
Yeah, absolutely. So in that, is there, the sensitive issue for most seniors is the fixed income. So is your service covered by anything? Is it covered by, what do they call it? Long-term insurance? Is it covered by Medicare? Is there any portion of that beast that will help out with this?
Welcome to my 20-plus year battle.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, I know even Dr. Dorio has, I've talked to him about it and trying to get some legislation, is home care basically is private pay. Long-term care insurance. I know Barbara has a great policy that anybody in their 50s and 60s and are healthy, that's the sweet spot to look for long-term care insurance, because if you do a cost analysis, you're like, oh, I don't want to pay that multi-$100 premium each month. But now wait till you pull the trigger on needing care and what it costs to get the needed care. So long-term care, folks, if you don't have it, look into it. Long-term care does cover our services.
And the other thing is, the long-term care that we had, and I bought it against Rush's wishes.
And you neener.
No, I didn't. He said to me, I'm so thankful you got it.
Yeah.
Because it paid for 2/3 of the bill.
Yeah.
Which was enormous. Absolutely enormous.
But a tiny light at that.
And that's 24/7
right.
care.
Yeah. You got a great policy. And that's the thing, too, when someone's looking to buy, there's advisors that I can point in the right direction. If you're looking to buy a long-term care policy, it breaks my heart sometimes when, they actually, like a lot of insurances, if something happens in your house or whatever, when you go to trigger that policy and that fine print pretty much includes everything that you thought you were covered for. Or there's daily, weekly, and monthly maximums of a policy. So folks will go in and they say, I have a long-term care policy. And then we find out it's good for $50 a day.
Yes.
And they need a lot of care, and they're like, you can just see the look on their face.
$50 doesn't do anything.
Exactly.
It really doesn't.
But that teeny, teeny, teeny light at the end of the tunnel, to answer the rest of your question, is Medicare Advantage plans have been given the green light to kind of stick their toe in the pond. And it disappoints me that not really run with that. Because again, if you do a cost analysis of the things we were talking about before, of preventative medicine versus reactive medicine, right. So we prevent that broken hip or the head trauma or whatever. And now their insurance is like boom, but they would have paid for a little more home care for preventative. I'm getting ahead of myself. So Kaiser's been sort of the leader in experimenting with, because they're an advantage on Medicare. And we've got we're the preferred provider. We have a partnership with Kaiser. Of all the home care companies out there, Kaiser chose Keepers to be their partner, for providing home care. But other than that, some of the other Advantage plans, haven't stepped up. And as I said earlier, when I've talked to Dr. Doria about it, I think it should be a full Medicare benefit. That you it's kind of like those cafeteria plans you have, or maybe just outright covers it. But I think money Medicare could save by paying for home care is preventative, as we said. I don't know why we've been trying to shine the light on that for decades now. It's just it's like a turtle running uphill, because I don't know why they don't see that light. And but to answer your question again, long-term insurance barely touched by Medicare Advantage plans, not touched at all by Medicare. So primarily back to private pay. And it really bothers me because some of our seniors need the care. And they're on that fixed income, can't afford it. And God, am I going to pee off? I don't want to see them go to IHSS. Right. In-home sort of services is there. So California. But again, it puts the IHSS usually isn't still providing care they need, but they basically become the small business because they've got to interview. They get a list, right? And they have to now interview the prospective caregivers. The only good thing is that family members can sign up with in-home support services and be their loved one's caregiver. Mm-hmm. But again, there's so much fraud and I'm going to get assassinated.
Well,
so again, there is.
Sorry for opening that terms.
There is in-home supportive services for low income, but you got to go through the process. They come out and they'll say, okay, you need 7 minutes to brush your teeth. You need 5 minutes to do it. Okay, so you get 1 hour and 20 minutes of care a day. That type of thing. And I'll be honest, I've lost touch with home support services' way of doing things, so I apologize in advance for my gut reaction there. It's kind of visceral, but if that's an option, and trust-wise, if you have a family member that wants to pick up a few extra bucks by being their caregiver through IH, we make a lot of referrals that way because it just breaks our heart to see folks that need care and can't get it.
Well, I've been receiving telephone calls for this Medicare Advantage or something. They call and say, well, we can give you everything for free. You don't pay a dime. And I followed through with one of the women one time, and they don't cover any of my doctors.
Right. Yeah.
And I said, absolutely not. I am not taking it because if if one of my doctors was on your list or all of my doctors, yes, I'd go with it.
Right. Well, basically, all the advanced plans are HMOs. So
Yeah.
you have to go to their doctors. You have to go to their network. So
No
it does restrict your choices a lot.
I don't want to change my doctors.
Right, but this is the time of year because it's called open enrollment where you can change your coverage. So basically what Advantage plans are, for folks who aren't aware, is what you do is you assign your Medicare benefits over to a Kaiser, United Healthcare, a Scan, one of the, the Medicare Advantage plans. And then with those benefits that you've assigned to them, you now put into their box of profit and loss and expenses versus benefit. So you just, I will say, is an Advantage plan, and I'm with Kaiser personally. I'm making a choice right now to be on Kaiser. I'm not on Medicare. I love Kaiser. And people may agree or disagree from their own experiences, but Kaiser works like a well-oiled machine for me. I love their care. I love my doctor. I love their systems. I mean, I've got my Kaiser app. So if I ever go on Medicare, which I probably will when I get old, I'd probably assign my benefits to Kaiser. So you really have to do your homework. There's advisors that can help you with that. Paul Davis Insurance is who I bring my client to, because he will go through, because you got to worry about your Part D for your prescriptions.
Yes.
You've got, so there's a lot of moving parts in that you need to be informed to make the best decision for you. And then you get gap insurance as well. For Medicare, primarily more than managed plans, because Medicare covers 80%. Well, now who's going to get that 20%? God forbid you have an extended hospital stay. So you should look into gap insurance as well, so that you have 100% of everything covered. It's an additional premium, and again, your homework, you find that's coverage. Again, Paul Davis Insurance he helped me with my mom before she passed. So you really have to do your homework. There's advisors out there, and that's what I would recommend.
Absolutely.
It's
extremely important.
Right, and they make it sound real sweet on the phone, don't they?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
they do.
It's like,
we can provide everything. You don't pay one dime.
And give us your definition of everything.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's outside of everything, I guess, because it's there. Fortunately, through the years, there's really been a lot of folks that have stepped up and become experts. We call them subject matter experts in the field. Be it choosing an advantage plan, be it choosing long-term care, be it choosing a reverse mortgage. So it's another thing too as far as paying. I know reverse mortgages used to be the sign of the devil, but there's it was in its early stages. But it's so well regulated now, and it really has to be a good option, because a lot of our seniors are asset rich and poor. They're sitting on a $700,000 house or a $1.5 million house, but the cash flow is basically a social security check each week or each month. So you can get a reverse mortgage, and I'm not going to get into a sales point for a reverse mortgage. That's not my gig, but that it is something to look at if you've got. And a lot of our seniors have lived in houses for over 30 years, so their mortgage is paid off, and they're sitting on a boatload of equity that they can use to improve their quality of life. And that's home care. It'd be anything they want. Some active seniors will do a reverse mortgage to go on a worldwide TWIP. I'm Fud here. So again, reverse mortgages, utilizing the equity in home, that's that option as well. And then we got Eric Hallaby sitting right next door here. He's a financial advisor. He could,
He's
could help a lot of people.
Oh, yes.
So again, there are subject matter experts. Take a step back. Don't make a hasty decision. Do your research. Talk to the right people. You, like doctors say, a second opinion. You get a second opinion of a financial advisor as well.
Oh, yes.
Again, just do your homework, and don't take that sweet dangling carrot that just smells too good to be true, because it probably is.
Usually is.
Yeah.
All right, Myles, any last thoughts?
Are we done already?
We're done.
Oh, no.
We're coming back after the break.
Oh, we are.
Yeah,
Okay.
kick me out so darn fast.
We're coming back after the break. Okay, great.
Okay, let's wait. We break. Okay, I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Tom Polucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. And we've been chatting with one of our sponsors from Comfort Keepers in Home Care, Myles McNamara.
Still here.
Yes, you're still here.
I know we're short on time before we get it. I'm going to quickly go over some nuggets here. And if I'm going to be talking fast because we're short on time. So if you have any questions, you can call me anytime at our office in Santa Clarita at 662-887-4200. It's 287-4200 or go to comfortkeepers.com. But I get a lot of questions this time of year about gifts for seniors. What should we do? And this is my opinion, just for the years, is grandma doesn't need, mom doesn't need, dad doesn't need any more tchotchkes. Our gift for the sake of getting gifts. Be practical. That'll be the first thing. I say, just like you said, Russ got you a walk-in tub one year. So if there's warm jammies, just be practical. But the biggest thing, folks, I've seen that seniors want from their kids is time. I mean, you try to do that a year, but handle lunch, spend time with them. That for a gift for a tchotchke, folks, think about it. And if you're only seeing your parents maybe one time a year because you live in different states, what have you. Use your 5 senses when you see them real quick. I'm going to go fast. You got your touch, smell, taste, sight. Walk in, look at them, give them a hug. Have they lost weight? Smell. Is their personal hygiene slipped a little bit? Taste. Let them cook them. Are they using too much salt, too much sugar, what have you? Let them drive. Sight. Next time you go, hey, you drive. If they're all licensed, are they kind of all over the place? Are they dinging? And last, hearing. Just listen to their speech pattern. Are they repeating themselves, etc. Fast. Here I'm done. You, everyone, Merry Christmas.
You've been listening to the Senior Hour on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. We're sponsored by Comfort Keepers In-Home Care, Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, and Hess Med Spa. Now go out and enhance your quality of life.
That